Hello, fictional. Welcome to the Fiction Series X. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei was the broken white dragon emperor and got harem? If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. They say fate is cruel, and that couldn't possibly be any more true for the teenager Issei Issei. He was abandoned, tortured without mercy by the people that he thought cared about him the most. The scars and cigarette burns that they had left behind on him were very evident under his shirt. The most noticeable one stretching down from his right shoulder to the center of his chest in a diagonal path, the remains of a large deep scratch that was given to him by a truly evil woman with jet black hair. Though, what was oddly strange was that he could only remember so little about her, as if someone had intentionally tried to alter his memory but failed to eradicate it all. What remained of her in his broken mind was a scene that he could recall so easily as if it happened only yesterday. TCH. You damned brat. Don't ever touch me again with those filthy human hands. Throwing the child a few meters back, she immediately increased her guard tenfold, flaring out midnight black aura that felt intoxicating when it came into contact with Issei. Each step she took sounded like an approaching trip of impending doom nearing closer and closer. But, Issei couldn't move at all. His hazel brown eyes were left to spin around his eyes in a wild manner. The very fear of her approaching him was enough to send shivers down his spine faster than anybody previously could. The burgundy prison he was in almost seemed to crumble under the pressure of her evil, petrifying aura. He finally managed to muster enough courage to even look at her, but by then she was already standing directly above him, in the process of delivering a swift kick to his stomach. Upon contact of her kick, Issei was sent flying across the room and was only stopped by the already unstable burgundy wall. He coughed up so much blood on the spot that he thought he'd die right there, though that wasn't the case. Was she intending to give him a slow death or merely a harsh lesson? Though he couldn't muster any more strength. He kept coughing up so much of the crimson substance right there on the spot. He immediately curled up into a fetal position to protect his internal organs, though something about the woman was telling him subconsciously that this would prove ineffective. Issei could barely use his arms to look up, yet alone running away. A sick feeling was originating from his stomach to his brain and tried to place an estimate on how much internal bleeding he just suffered. The sound of high heels smashing down against the floor drew closer, each one breaking off a part of the material that made up the floor. And then she finally reappeared, this time grabbing Issei by what remained of his shirt. She lifted him up with little to no effort and hissed in a venomous tone, "Boy. Touch me again and I actually will kill you." Her index finger bore the longest and sharpest nail. Splitting a hole in his shirt, she used this to scratch a scar into his chest, narrowly missing a major artery. That's not to say that it didn't draw blood, however. Blood seeped out of the wound and stained his clothes crimson, but he couldn't wipe it off. No, he couldn't do anything. He didn't react at all, instead he was too shrouded in fear to even react to the girl and her actions. "Now, get the funk away from me and crawl back into your cell. Try to escape and you'll be killed immediately by my guards constantly patrolling this area at all hours of the day." She then threw Issei aside, leaving him to crawl back and struggle as her source of amusement. Issei sighed, not knowing why his brain had to relive the entire scene in third person. Why must that come up now of all times? Damn you, brain. It's not like he asked to relive it. In actuality he really didn't, not even one bit of it. He had cursed that woman to hell several times in the past. He only managed to escape due to a few seconds of luck and a lack of security at the time. That's not to say that he found it hard. He had nowhere to go, no one to talk to, and didn't know enough of the supernatural world to acknowledge the territory of other supernatural beings. He knew he had some kind of sacred gear, but he hadn't yet awakened it. He presumed the woman's goal was one of three things. To extract it for herself, to kill him before he awakened it, or to try and strengthen himself from the torture. Though, he doubted the latter option. He felt no stronger than when he got into that godforsaken prison, and the only significant change that he went through was adolescence and the fact that he had gained a resistance to pain, being able to sometimes completely outright ignore it. Issei didn't know which town he was in right now, but he could tell that it was rather popular. All of the urban lights, magnificent views and truly amazing buildings. Additionally, he noted that there were 2 schools nearby. He took a moment to look up to the night sky and see the immaculate stars glimmering down and providing at least a bit of light for the inhabitants of Japan. Not as much as the moon or the sun though, but the moon didn't really count since it only reflects the sun's light. I should probably buy some new clothes. Where would I get my money from though? Damn it. I didn't want to have it come to this. I don't want a job yet. I don't even know how old I am. I lost track of the time and date a very long time ago. I really doubt an employer would want a guy working under him that didn't even know his own age. Well, that's just great. Stupid Issei. Issei's thoughts were suddenly cast aside when he heard a bush rustle. Almost immediately after, a gush of wind behind him almost pushed him down onto the floor. He turned around but no body was there at all, which made him think he was going crazy. "Over's there. Introduce yourself now," he yelled at his surroundings. Any non-supernatural observer would have thought that he was talking to himself, but Issei knew there was someone there. Either hiding or disguising themselves. The forest he was in provided great camouflage for whoever was chasing him, but he didn't think that he wouldn't have noticed them until now. Are you Umichan? Looks like we got caught," a voice said from behind him. Issei was completely taken by surprise. Just a second ago nobody was there at all, but how did she get there? More questions were being asked than those that could have been answered, and quite frankly, Issei just didn't even know how to mentally comprehend this. Sure, he had seen his fair share of supernatural stuff that he was pretty sure couldn't be explained by science, but this was hovering delicately over the barrier between science and fantasy. Shit. These people give off the same aura as that bitch who tortured me for years. Are these people who I think they are? He turned around once more, and sure enough, there were not one but three of them. The first one, which he would call Stalker number 1, was a quite busty woman in a very revealing S&M outfit. Her hair was in a neat straight fashion that was pure black with a slight tint of dark violet in it. She had truly beautiful purple eyes which glimmered even when in the night sky. Honestly, Issei had found himself already stunned at her gorgeous and charming looks. Then he moved to beepizing the other stalkers. The next one, which he would call Stalker number 2, donned a voluptuous figure with bright blue hair. Her fringe almost covered her right eye, and she bore a smug grin which literally spelled out death for Issei. The next guy, Stalker number 3, was the most mysterious of the trio. He wore a poliviola trench coat and black fedora. He was pretty tall, and Issei guessed that he was at least 6 feet tall. This man had a manipulative smile on his face, and you could easily tell he was plotting something. "You there?" the tall man said rather rudely, pointing at Issei like a mean boss would do to their underlings. Issei averted his eyes from the beautiful woman he called Stalker number 1 towards the tall man. He foresaw that something bad was going to happen, and as a result he prepared for the worst. Death. "Do you happen to be Haidu, Issei?" the man said, tugging on his trench coat and lifting his fedora up to a better angle, where he and Issei both exchanged looks. Issei took an audible gulp and then slowly nodded, now visibly tensing up. The man then gave a toothy smile, and then continued to speak. That's good. Well, allow me to introduce myself and my comrades. I, myself, am Donasik, a fallen angel. Issei's eyes shot open. He had heard that term quite a lot. He knew exactly what it meant, a real angel that had fell from heaven due to their sins. He had seen them before in his life and knew not to encounter them in his state, for he was only a mere human. To further prove his point, he revealed his black set of wings that looked exactly like an angel's own wings, only black. He also noticed that Donasik did not have a golden halo above his head like the normal angels. Then he pointed to Stalker number 2, who stood in between him and the stunning girl he called Stalker number 1. "I am Kalwerner, also a fallen angel." Boom. This information was like someone just riddled Issei with bullets cursed by whatever the heck is in hell's arsenal. Her wings also appeared and were also black. "And I am Rainer, also a fallen angel." Did somebody just erase Issei from existence? Well, no, but Issei was almost on the verge of collapse. Rainer also revealed her wings, and hers were just as black as the others. This news was like a heart attack to Issei, who had only saw one fallen angel in one place at a time. Now there were 3 of them, standing directly in front of him. Issei knew that he had to run, but he couldn't because he was standing at the edge of a cliff. So the only options he had were commit suicide or be killed by the very existence he hates the most. "Or you can use me, which do you prefer?" a voice boomed inside his head. "Who are you and what are you doing inside of my head? Get out of there." Issei screamed while hitting his head. It was a very dumb move, I know. Unbeknownst to Issei that this was his sacred gear trying to talk to him mentally. He didn't realize this though, so whilst he was smacking his head like a total buffoon, the fallen angels about 10 meters in front of him were debating on whether or not Issei should be put in a mental asylum. "Be quiet, partner. Do not worry about introductions for now, you're about to get killed for great red sake. Use some common sense." It's still in my head. Get it ood. Meanwhile the fallen angels just looked at each other and then back at Issei, shrugging their shoulders. Kalwerner simply decided to end it by throwing her yellow light spear right through Issei's abdomen, causing an almost instantaneous death. He immediately fell down flat on his back, with his mouth open spitting out blood. A large pool of blood was seeping out of the hole in his stomach and he was losing blood fast. He had merely a few seconds left to start talking. Kalwerner walked up to him and while he still had some life in him, she spoke. "Sorry, boy. You had to be eliminated to eradicate the potential threat you posed to our faction. Well, you have not awoken your sacred gear yet, as Azul-sama gave us indirect orders to kill you. The light spear then disintegrated, revealing a very visible hole around 10 millimeters in diameter that directly punched a hole through his skin, muscle, bone and organs. Heck, even the clothes he had on were ripped from both sides, inwards and outwards. Mother, father, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did not get to avenge you. Forgive me. What is this place? Why is it so cold and white? Is this heaven? Quit your babbling, fool. This place is your mindscape. Heh. I swear I just heard a voice tell me that this was my mind. Partner, that's because it did. Let me introduce myself. Why introduce yourself when you're obviously just another hallucination formed by my messed up mind? Heh. Stupid Issei. Dreaming up voices now just to fix what little sanity you have left. Well, I'm about to die anyway. Goodbye. And what makes you so sure? Because I just got pure dragon. No, 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 no. This is bad, this is really bad. I'm about to get eaten by a magnificent white celestial dragon. Shit. I never expected this to happen. Oh, shut up, will you? Partner, I won't kill you. I am the heavenly dragon Albion, the white dragon emperor. And you, Issei, are my host. Wait, you're trying to tell me that you, the very being that I've heard about in the legends that depict you as a dragon capable of killing the very god that supposedly permeated the universe, is within my soul. Wow. You finally figured it out. It's about time. I've been trying to contact you since the day you first learned to talk basic Japanese. Why do you think you didn't die back when that woman attempted to kill you? That explains why I didn't immediately die of blood loss when she threw me across the room, burned me with cigarettes and sent harsh kicks to my stomach. You were responsible for saving my life. Ding ding ding. Give this boy a prize. Ah, shut up, you damn dragon. The very same damn dragon that saved your ass 43 times over on separate occasions, to be exact. Haha. It doesn't even matter anyway since this is my farewell. I just got pierced with a freaking spear of light in the abdomen, which in case you weren't aware, didn't really feel that comfortable. It actually kinda burned, which I'm surprised about since as far as I'm aware, I am a human, not a devil. This is my gift to humanity. One less insane psycho to deal with. No. That won't be your farewell since you're actually still alive, you're just in a coma that you'll get out of in about a week's time. Additionally, that red-haired devil outside is tending to you right now. Take a look for yourself. You're right. Well, thanks, Albion, for saving my life. How many times now? 43 times. So what do I do for the next week? I suppose I'll just annoy you constantly. Heh. You'll be glad to see me gone. You won't be annoying me at all. Rather, you'll be training the hardest you possibly can in this mindscape of yours until I can heal your body hard enough to get out of this coma. No. I don't like training. Well, aren't you a poor soul? Boo-hoo. Shut it, Albion. So what do you want me to do again? I want you to first try and manifest your sacred gear. Close your eyes and imagine the most powerful thing ever, be it fictional or real. Then, once you have that imagination, try and channel their power through your spine. Well, let's see then who's the most powerful being I know of. Got it. Son Goku from Dragso Ball. Alright, partner, now you try and imagine that you're him and think of his most powerful attack, then try and channel that energy through your spine. Close your eyes as well, it will give you a better sense of imagination. Got it. Spirit Bomb. HNNNNNG. Spirit Bomb. It isn't working. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Albion, do you want to die? I won't answer that. Anyway, Son Goku, how about you try someone even more powerful? Hey. My name is not Son Goku. Albeit, I would like to be him. What's the difference? Hey, shut your mouth. Partner, you're getting on my nerves. Just think of somebody powerful. Like, I don't know, how about a white powerful dragon? Yes. Try that. Stop trying to subliminally refer to yourself. But hey, I'll try it. What? I don't know any of your moves. Name me one of them. You can try Divide, which halves an opponent's power and then adds that power to yourself. Okay, let me try again. Divide. Boosh. It worked. I got these shiny, blue and white wings. They just expanded from my back out of nothing. As I said before, no shit, Sherlock. TCH. Albion, you really want to die, don't you? It isn't my fault. I've been sealed in those wings for thousands of years. Dragons need fun too, you know. Well, it isn't my fault you got your ass whooped by the three main factions. Shut it, kid. Anyway, partner, I suppose you want to learn how to fly like a real dragon, correct? Yeah. What else would I do with these wings? You can hover and levitate with them too. They aren't used just for flying. I can also use them to communicate with you and other beings. Pretty much, those wings are the physical form of your sacred gear. Whoopee. That's cool. Anyhow, yeah, I would like to learn how to fly. Alright. Move back about 20 meters. Walk it though. Why walk? Because you don't know how to fly yet, dummy. Albion, if I had the power to do so, I'd kill you on the spot literally right at this moment. Haha. Okay, done. I'm here, 20 meters back. Now what? Partner, before I can teach you how to fly, I need to teach you how to re-equip and to diminish your wings. And no, before you make some cheesy and ridiculously stupid comment, it's not the same as simply thinking about yours truly, myself. Ian. To re-equip and diminish retract your wings, you literally just will it away. Keep in mind that lack of use of your sacred gear will force you to temporarily not be able to use it. So try and practice as much as you can. That's it. Was that supposed to be hard? No, I just wanted to waste your time. Freaking troll. Knock knock. Come in and close the door behind you, please. Rias sighed, she almost had her paperwork finished and didn't want to be distracted by her peerage's conversations. The door opened revealing Akeno in her school outfit along with the rest of Ria's peerage, also in their school outfits. Akeno had her usual sadistic smile on her face and walked in holding a tray with 4 cups of tea, one for each member of the peerage. Kiba had a neutral expression on his face, but soon changed it into a friendly smile towards Rias, while Kaneko looked really bored and had a neutral face with absolutely no emotion on it at all. She and Kiba entered the clubroom shortly after Akeno and then closed the door as Rias had asked them. All of the peerage members took their seats on the 2 sofas that were placed parallel to each other, except for Akeno who had put the tray of tea on the wooden table in between the 2 sofas. She had also given Rias her cup of tea and then proceeded to sit down on the sofa opposite to Kaneko and Kiba, marking the initiation of the ORC meeting, with Rias speaking first. She tucked all of her paperwork into one vertical stack and then cleared her throat, beginning her speech. Good afternoon, everybody. Before I begin, would anybody like to discuss anything specifically? All of the participants looked at each other and then back at Rias, speaking a polite no. Okay. That's good then. In this club meeting I want to talk about 2 things. One is very important and the other is about a new possible peerage member of ours. I'll start with the important business first. Rias said. She took her cup of tea that had been placed on her desk opposite to her paperwork by Akeno and drank a small sip of it before putting it down gently in the same position that it had previously been in before. So recently, the Duke asked us to eliminate a stray devil on the outskirts of Kuo. According to reports, screams were heard coming from the abandoned church that we believe the fallen angels had occupied without my permission first. All of the club members averted their eyes to Rias and began listening carefully, making sure not to miss out any details, whilst Kiba gained a more stoic expression, showing more anger than before, but not totally losing it. The stray devil is, according to these reports, called Viser and killed her master. I believe that this is totally unacceptable. The Duke has told us that we urgently need to kill the devil since she has gained a lot of power and has killed multiple innocent humans that absent-mindedly walked into the abandoned church which she uses as her base of operations. Apparently, she lures humans in and then attempts to kill them. A pretty despicable way to die in my opinion. She should have at least had the decency to kill them hidden. Akeno began licking her lips while generating small sparks of lightning at the tips of her fingers without knowing it, while Rias told her that it wasn't the time to do such a thing, since this was one of the more serious moments that she had to talk about. Complying with Rias' orders, she asked about the second thing Rias wanted to talk about and if she wanted any more tea. Refusing the offer for more tea, Rias then skipped to the talk about the new possible peerage member. She got up from her desk and walked over to the shower room. She opened the door, narrowly missing Issei's head, and then pulled an unconscious Issei up so that he involuntarily stood upright. Turning around while supporting the comatose boy, she took him outside the shower room and closed the door behind her, introducing the boy whom shocked the other members of Rias' peerage. Everybody, this is the boy that I was talking about. Currently, I believe he is in a coma and he should come out of it any time between this week and next month. Probably the former if Akeno and I heal him throughout that duration. Sorry Akeno. Akeno sighed, but was also happy internally due to the fact that another boy would be a part of this peerage, and then her sadist side came out, which caused her to subconsciously start licking her lips again and to start conjuring bright yellow, small sparks of lighting from the tips of her fingers. Rias noticed this and reprimanded her. Akeno, you're kinda acting out of order again. Please stop that. Akeno complied once more and stopped once she became aware of what she was doing, to which Kiba chuckled. In case any of you are wondering, I took this boy and due to the fact that I detect multiple auras and a sacred gear coming from him. I'm not sure if it's a weak or powerful one, but I'm going to bargain my chances on it anyway. Kaneko looked towards the boy and then back at Rias, asking a question. But where did you find him? Noticing that Kaneko finally spoke voluntarily for once, she expressed a bit of shock before answering Kaneko's question. Good question, Kaneko. I found him in the outskirts of Kuo and watched 3 weak fallen angels introduce themselves and attempt to kill him. She acknowledged the answer, to which Kiba then asked his own question about the boy. But why did you let him die in the first place? You are a high-class devil after all, and I'm relatively sure a Gremory princess such as yourself would be able to fend off and kill 3 weak fallen angels. Rias averted her eyes to Kiba and began her response towards his question. You're right, I could have killed them, but I didn't. Even after he supposedly died, I still let them get away. The reason behind this was because I was thinking about reviving him and letting him join my peerage. But I didn't. The boy, surprisingly, didn't die, which I believe is a result of whatever made up his body. I noticed that he was a lot heavier and tougher than most boys with his age and figure. I mean, look at him. He's skinny, probably also hungry, has no money or identification on him, and had no clothes other than a ripped shirt and a pair of trousers and trainers, which were far too small for him. Yet, he weighed so much heavier than you'd expect. Meanwhile in Issei's mindscape. Hey Albion, that's right. What that girl said out there. How did you make me live in the first place? I converted the affected body parts into those of a dragon, giving you enhanced durability and strength in those areas. This is why you didn't die. A normal human as weak as you were back then would have easily died several years back due to multiple causes. So, I'm part dragon, is what you're trying to tell me? Yes. Partner, you are 2/5 dragon. I converted part of your torso, your head, and your feet into those of a dragon's. Anyway, dodge this. Dragon shot. I decided to give divine dividing dragon shot. Boom. Whoa. That almost hit me. Heh. Anyway, that's cool. Although that Redeed is a bit of a bitch for letting me almost die just for her greed. Now I know why devils are called greedy and manipulative in the Bible. Don't stop training. Hey, partner, how about you dragon shot? Stop that. Boom. Not stopping anytime soon. Do you want me to shoot another one? No. Not another one. Dragon shot. Boom. Damn you. Kiba nodded. He understood Ria's response and then asked Akeno if she had any questions, to which she answered that she had only one. Rias, what time will we be killing the stray devil? Akeno asked. Rias paused for a few seconds before claiming that the time they will meet at should be around 7 o'clock, to which everybody nodded in approval. You are all dismissed. Akeno, could you stay behind for about an hour or so to help me heal the boy? Sure. See you all at 7, Kaneko-chan and Kiba-kun. She replied. Ara. So but you wanted me to help you heal that guy. Rias nodded. Sure, she could heal Issei herself, but it would take 2 times as long and it would be incredibly tiring on her body. Plus, Akeno was more talented in the field of magic than Rias. Yes. I've decided to take it in periods. You heal him for an hour and then I do for an hour. Then we repeat until we both need to rest. Is that okay with you? Rias asked. She knew that Akeno would be needed to help heal Issei in time to hopefully attempt to break her engagement with a certain high-class devil. If Yufu of course, but you. Akeno responded in a rather sadistic manner. She immediately took Issei into the bedroom in the old school building and began to get undressed there so that she could sleep with Issei. The reason behind this was because devils could only heal other devils when sleeping naked together while maintaining some sort of direct physical contact. So, Akeno undressed Issei and pulled him onto the left side of the bed furthest away from the wall. And then after that, she also got into bed on the right side of the bed, nearest to the wall. Of course, Rias did warn her to not do anything sexual to him before Akeno undressed either of them. Akeno did whine a bit, but other than that she did comply. Tucking the covers over the two of them, they both went to sleep. Partner, is it me or am I seeing a beautiful, well-endowed young woman sleeping naked in the same bed as you, while hugging you with her assets? Wait, is this another trick of yours? I never even asked for a harem. Woo partner, you're so lucky. I'd kill for a woman like her to even be near me, and you're sleeping with her in the same bed naked whilst hugging you. Consider yourself a true man now. Albion, relax. I heard her master tell her not to do anything sexual to me. That's good, on my part at least. That's not an excuse to skip training though. Divide. Dragon shot. Dividing me too. That's cruel. Boom. Shit, I narrowly missed that one. Wait, are you increasing the power in those blasts so I can run faster? That's even more cruel than before. Wahahaha. Time skip 3 hours later, 7 PM. I don't want to write about Rias and Akeno sleeping with Issei anymore. Somewhere around the outskirts of Kuo in a small little abandoned church left over by the fallen angels, Rias and her peerage were planning an attack on a stray devil who had set her base of operations there. The stray devil, known as Viser, had killed several innocent humans, church followers, and she had also killed her master. It was already dark outside, and the moon had yet to travel over Kuo, so right now the town looked pretty dark, with only the illuminating streetlights left to brighten up the town. Rias began by gathering up everybody just outside the entrance of the abandoned church, and then stated her plans on how to kill Viser in an orderly fashion. "Alright, everybody. Our plan will go as I say. There will be an order that we use. Kiba will attack first and sever the limbs off of Viser. Next, Kaneko will throw the beast upwards into the sky, only for Akeno to almost cook it to a crisp with her lightning. I will finish her off by eliminating her without leaving a trace. Does everybody understand?" Immediately, everybody either nodded like Kaneko or they said something similar to "Hi, but you." Rias told everybody to enter quietly to make sure that they the most time to prepare. Additionally, they could suspend Viser earlier on without causing that much damage to the church. Because, although it was abandoned, it would be nice to actually keep it in a stable state and not a crumbling building on the verge of collapse. Rias signaled everybody to follow her, to which they did. She walked amongst the grey concrete path with no regard for the beautiful plants nearby. When she got near to the door, she ever so gently pushed the door open. She could already knew that Viser was hiding because all devils can see perfectly in the dark and because she wasn't showing herself when it was quite clear that she was probably in the back of the church. However, before she could even take 2 steps into the church, a rotten aroma had filled her nostrils and it was quite sickening. Never before had she smelled a scent like that. "But you?" A small, neutral voice belonging to Kaneko said. Without responding, Kaneko had already identified the scent and had relayed it on to her master. "But you, this is the smell of blood and rotting corpses." Rias had already had enough of Viser's cowardice plan to ambush them, and it was obvious that this scent wasn't going to waft away anytime soon, so she directly called her out to try and torment the stray devil into walking into her own death. "Viser. Come out now by the orders of the Grand Duke. We are here to eliminate you for killing your master and several other innocent beings. If you come out now, we might let you live." Ria's plan was already taking effect. Viser introduced herself in a rather rude manner. Jumping out of a gigantic disguised hatch right by the table where the minister would have stood to do prayers and whatnot with a ferocious cackle and a shit-eating grin, she then began her literal introduction. "Ha! The Gremory bitch thinks she can kill me. Ahahaha." All of Ria's peerage were quite disgusted. Viser had a hideous appearance. Her appearance was that of a half-nude well-endowed woman with her lower half made up of about a quarter of a normal female devil, and the other 3/4 was that of an 8-legged unidentifiable monster, and she hadn't even fully transformed yet. Immediately after Viser had appeared with her self-praise, Rias gave out the orders to attack to make sure that Viser was left alive, but in a paralyzed and crippled state, which was going a bit far for Rias, since anybody that had known her for even a minute knew that she had no fetish for sadism and masochism like Akeno had. Was she planning on torturing the stray devil into submission? Or was she going for a kinder, more warm approach by giving the devil a chance to live so that she could be questioned by the Grand Duke himself? "Kiba, go," she yelled. "Yes, but you," he responded, using his sacred gear sword birth to spawn 2 katanas. Immediately using his knight traits given to him by the evil pieces that Rias had used to reincarnate him into a devil, Kiba quickly ran extremely fast around the devil, severing every limb from Viser just as intended. "Ayarg. Stop it, you daft fool. I will crush you into total oblivion." Viser yelled out in pain. She hadn't expected to be dominated so easily by a low-class devil. It was rather humiliating for a mid-class devil that had power within the reaches of a weak high-class devil to be treated like a complete and utter ragdoll. However, her actions were too late. Within seconds Kaneko had already gotten under the devil and just stood there, waiting for the foot to stomp on her. Viser thought of her as nothing more than a bug asking for death. But instead, it was actually the opposite. What she didn't realize was that Kaneko's traits included those of extreme defense and strength given to her by the rook piece that Rias had used to reincarnate her as a devil. Oh boy, that was a big mistake, for Viser had not taken this into account. Lazy planning is another term for it. Rias had wondered if she even bothered to gauge the strength of possible enemies in the first place. "Haha, puny devil. I will crush you like the bug you are," she proclaimed before attempting to stomp down on Kaneko. Bang. Kaneko had easily just put her hands up and blocked the attack. This alone was a display of ultimate defense, though it was total humiliation when Kaneko grappled onto the legs of Viser, span around multiple times, and chucked her over 30 feet in the air. However, even this wasn't Kaneko's full strength. She could have thrown the beast right through the roof if she wasn't under the orders of Rias. She purposely made Viser not touch the roof because she knew it was Akeno's turn next to give the devil a bit of a shock. If Akeno had shocked Viser while she was touching the roof, it had several pieces of metal dangling by puny amounts of faulty welding. The bits of metal could have acted as a lightning rod, and thus Viser wouldn't have been hit with any electricity, forcing Kaneko to throw her back up again carefully and hope for the best, though this wouldn't have been as easy as before. "Akeno, your turn," Rias ordered. "Hi, but you," Akeno replied in ecstasy. She immediately transformed into her lightning priestess outfit and instantaneously losing control of her seductive side. She kept striking constantly with thousands of volts of electricity, hitting all of Viser's delicate places, such as her head and chest, heart, lungs, etc. After a few minutes of constantly pounding Viser with over 1,000,000 volts of electricity, she looked burnt to a crisp. You could see the scorches from lightning all over her body, and just as Rias was about to come over, Viser launched a surprise attack. Secretly, Viser had kept 2 creatures as a backup that could inject lethal venom into almost any supernatural being other than dragons and gods. The reason why the venom couldn't be injected towards dragons and gods is because of their advanced durability and resistance to many attacks. Basically, gods and dragons were merely too powerful and tough to inject mid-class devil venom into. Nobody would have reacted to these in time except Kiba, who had cut them perfectly horizontally several times just to make sure that they couldn't harm his master, Rias. "Thank you, Kiba. You saved me then," Rias replied, acknowledging Kiba's gratitude and loyalty towards herself. She smiled at him, to which Kiba returned. However, after their exchanged smiles, Rias returned to the main task at matter here. Viser was almost dead. She could barely talk, let alone move. Rias merely asked one simple question to Viser, which she knew the straight devil would be able to answer. "Any last requests, Viser?" she began. Viser paused for a few seconds and then muttered her final wish to Rias, "Just kill me." Rias sighed, but complied with her request. "By the orders of the Grand Duke, I, Rias Gremory, will eliminate the straight devil known as Viser." She began charging up her power of destruction magic into one final beam that would destroy Viser without leaving any trace at all. And then she shot it, feeling little to no remorse for the beast that she had effectively just completely erased from existence. "Good job everybody, you can go home now. You're all dismissed for today. Make sure to return at 4 o'clock tomorrow," Rias said, dismissing her peerage so that they could go home. "Boy, Albion, how long is it until I wake up? It's getting pretty boring around here. Might assume somewhere around the duration of tomorrow and 5 days. I'd put your recovery time at 2 to 3 days due to the fact that Gremory and her queen are taking it in turns to heal you." I can probably wait that long. Anyway, I learned how to use the dragon shot and divide ability last night. Flying is certainly still not my thing though. I don't even get how you dragons can fly properly without getting distracted and crash landing. Well, if you think about it, all living dragons on this planet, or more specifically, every powerful dragon living anywhere in the underworld, heaven, dimensional gap or earth, ranges from being a few millennia old to being as old as time itself, like Office, who is literally infinite in age. And, I don't know what your perspective of time is, but a few millennia is far more than enough to learn how to fly fluently. I'd even say that for a human as durable as you are, and taking into account that you are 2/5 dragon, it would take about 3 months to start flying swiftly and to perform quick, sharp, tactile turns and reflexes midair. Hey Albion, didn't I say I'd kill you if I had the power to use your dragon shot? PFFFFFFT. Cue awkward silence. Partner, did you expect a shot as tiny and uncontrolled as that to kill a god-eared dragon like me? Maybe. What? Wahahaha. I'm on the top 10 strongest beings in the world list, and you thought that a dragon shot from a user who had only just awoken their sacred gear 2 days ago would kill me? Come back in maybe a few hundred years and see how you fare then. Hey, shut up. I only learnt it last night. Okay, fine, I'll give you a minor discount being that you only learnt it last night. I'm being pretty serious though, partner, you'd need to access Juggernaut Drive before you could even get a chance to kill the sealed me. And even then, you can't get to Juggernaut Drive without first making a deal with the past possessors or divine dividing, and before that you need to unlock Balance Breaker, which would take a normal human at least a year to unlock. Explain how I'm not normal again, excluding the fact that I'm 2/5 dragon. Well, you did go through some serious physical and emotional training back then. Heh. I'm actually surprised that you haven't gone cuckoo yet. Additionally, those 2/5 of your body that are now that of a dragon's own far exceed even the maximum physical capability that human muscle can achieve. In simplified terms, it means that you already have the physical and emotional power to access Balance Breaker. But it's not as simple as you may think. You would need several months of self-training your magical abilities to before your sacred gear would even allow you to access the thing. So, what exactly is this Balance Breaker? I haven't seen one before in my entire life. The balance breaker is a glitch in the sacred gear system that allows you to use divide as many times as you like without the 10-second delay until your physical body can't handle it anymore. Additionally, it gives both you, the white one and the red one, the ability to wear a physical armor that exponentially enhances your abilities and puts you at the level of an ultimaticless devil, depending on how well you use it. Though I can't physically show you the balance breaker in your mindscape, the past possessors know all too well about it. You should talk to them. I cannot lead you to them now since you are not ready yet. Now do you understand why I'm trying to push you to your uppermost limits? I've already detected the red one's host nearby and they might have already mastered it. I don't even know who the red one is, but I'm going to presume he's the complete opposite of you with the same level of power as you, just with a different type of ability that counters the divide ability that you possess. I won't tell you about it yet. Just keep training while you can. Make sure you train your dragon shot, your divide ability and your magical prowess until you can't train anymore. Then you take a rest and repeat. I want you to put blood, sweat and tears into your training. You currently have 10 seals placed on your body by myself to make sure that you don't access too much and kill yourself in the process. They also act as limiters that will prevent you from getting to balance breaker. Additionally, these seals contain the memories that were wiped from your brain by the fallen angels that you aren't ready to see now. Trust me, partner, you really just won't want to see them. Seeing them now will probably stress you out so much that you will resort to self-harm. You'll isolate yourself from any other beings apart from myself. Heh. I'm already funked up in the head anyway. But I can see why you don't want me seeing them yet. Okay, I'll do what you said. I'm going to make sure that when I have completed my training in this place, my dragon shot will actually burn you slightly. Don't make bets with me, fool. I think we already know just how far your genius brain goes when it comes to betting and gambling. Haha, shut up. Partner, you make me laugh. Just keep progressing. You'll get there eventually. I'll help you as much as I can on your adventures. Thank you, Albion. Heh, don't mention it. You're still a troll though. T. It was 4 PM in the ORC clubroom and both Akeno and Rias had been constantly healing Issei through the day and night. Quite frankly, it was really tiring Akeno and her king out, both of them could not rest in time to heal Issei again and as a result they were losing their magic power fast. The two devils had no idea that they were also getting help from a dragon with a healing process, but Akeno did express her concerns to Rias about how the recovery period was shortening by the second, as if Issei was recovering himself internally. Rias became interested at Akeno's theory, also taking into account that Issei's recovery period had shortened from around a month to a little bit less than 3 days. Additionally, both of the two noticed how the boy's aura pulsated around his body in static almost preset intervals. It held a misty, light blue color like a laser beam, though it just wasn't as hot and dangerous. In fact, it brought warmth and passion. Rias and Akeno presumed that this was the aura that was healing him in conjunction with their own magic, which is what they thought sped up the recovery process. What they didn't realize was that Albion couldn't heal as well on his own and resorted to this technique which didn't really have a name. It just involved slowly draining the power away from somebody and transferring it to himself, or in this case, Issei. Using this technique, the more powerful the foe, the quicker the healing time. And since both Rias and Akeno were already at a level of a high-class devil, a formidable opponent. Though Albion didn't like using sneaky methods like this for the preservation and continued survival of his host, he had no choice. Knock knock. Come in. Rias ordered. The Redeed looked up to see as to who it was that just came into her clubroom and was shocked. Rias' peerage were already in the clubroom, but this time it was Sona Sitri that came into the room, along with her recently reincarnated second-year school council secretary and her vice president. Sona, do you need anything? Rias asked. It was really rare that Sona would check on her. Heck, it happened almost once a year, and that's saying something. Whenever Sona used to check on Rias in the past, there would always be an important matter in hand that Sona believed could affect Rias in some way. This was their relationship. They were rivals on the surface, but friends at heart. Rias used to do the same to Sona. Though, Sona Sitri's real name is actually Sona Sitri, a high-class devil and the sister of the Satan seraph Leviathan. She used an alias in front of non-supernatural beings. This was the opposite of Rias, who was also a high-class devil and the sister of the Satan Serzich's Lucifer. However, Rias did not have an alias at all. She used her actual name given to her by her devil parents, Rias Gremory. Sona walked into the clubroom and closed the door behind her. Every member of Rias' peerage gave a welcome to all of the members they knew of. However, there was one member that they didn't know. Sona has recently reincarnated. Greetings, Rias Gremory. I am Saji Genshiro, pawn of Kaichu. Pleased to meet you. Saji said, introducing himself after receiving a slight nudge from Tsubaki, Sona Sitri's queen and vice president of the student council. He immediately followed suit with a bow, showing a high amount of respect. Rias smiled at this and gave her introduction to him. Hello Sajijin Shirakun. I am Rias Gremory, heiress to the Gremory house. I am also a king and this is my peerage. Akeno Himejima, Kibayudo and Kaneko Taoju. Rias then averted her eyes to Sona, who still hadn't answered her question, so she asked again. Sona, you didn't answer my question. Do you need anything? Sona cast her gaze towards Rias and then responded, claiming that she had detected a powerful aura in the old school building, much different from that of an angel, fallen angel or a devil. Rias pondered for a few seconds before realizing what Sona was detecting. Sona, the aura you detected is that of a boy who's in another room in this building. I appreciate your concerns, but he is not of any concern right now because he's currently in a coma. She replied. Sona's eyes widened for a moment as she realized what Rias wanted. She knew all too well just how greedy Rias was when it came to peerage members. Rias, don't tell me you plan on recruiting him. The Sitri heiress wasn't impressed. Rather, she was disappointed and angry. For two reasons, to be specific. The first reason was because Rias hadn't given any thought into his abilities other than a scan of his aura, and the second being that she didn't get the boy first. Sona wanted the boy for herself, but she had to accept that Rias found him first. Rias then gave a cheeky smile at the Sitri heiress, commenting on how the boy was hers. Rias, have you even given any thought into the boy other than a scan of his aura? Knowing you probably waiting for him to die just so you could get the chance to reincarnate him. The Redeed immediately got flustered and embarrassed. She didn't want Sona's peerage knowing just how manipulative she was when it came to getting new peerage members. No. Sona, you baka. However, the aforementioned Sitri heiress was just proud that she stopped him from completely dying. In Issei's mindscape. Albion, do you detect that? I can sense multiple devils now. I already knew of Gremory and her peerage, but there are so many. There's got to be at least another 10 devils in the near vicinity. Yeah. They're talking about you, too. Apparently, Gremory wants you in her peerage for herself, while the other devil, heiress to the Sitri house, Sona Sitri, also wants in her peerage. Do you know what exactly interests them about me? Probably the 3 different auras you have would be a start. You have the aura of a masked sacred gear, the aura of a dragon, and then the mundane aura of a human mixed together. Heh. I won't be joining any of their peerages. Well, at least not now. Those devils only want me for my power, or, more specifically, your power. The Gremory bitch just let me die without interfering or killing the perpetrators, and that Sitri heiress only wants me for the power you possess. Are you sure about that? If you were to reincarnate into a devil, you could become either a queen, a rook, a knight, a bishop, or a pawn. All of those pieces have their own traits that could greatly strengthen you. Could you go over each one, Albion? Sure. The rook piece gives you extreme defense and ultimate strength, the knight piece gives you almost unmatchable speed, the bishop piece gives you unparalleled magical talent, the pawn piece allows you to gain the traits of any piece excluding the king piece, and the queen is a combination of all of the pieces excluding the king. Ah. So, the high-class devils and above each get their own set of these so-called evil pieces, and then they use them to reincarnate any being into a devil excluding gods and Buddhas. Correct. Exactly correct. Anyway, I have good news for you, partner. Go ahead. There are 7 devils in that club room. I have been healing you by sending my aura out from your body to slowly drain people of their power and add it onto your own. Currently, I have only been doing it with that Gremory Redeed and her queen, who goes by the name of Akeno. Yeah? Well, if I send my aura out now I can drain everybody in that room of their power and add it to your own. This is pretty much an instant heal package. If I do that now, the total taken power will be more than enough to awaken you from this coma and give you enough energy to run away. Finally. I can awaken from this boring place. Heh. Now you know how I feel. I have been living in this place for several millennia. Sheesh, that's harsh. Anyway, you will have 2 options if I do this. You can either run away and eventually be caught or introduce yourself right now before they place a bounty on your head. But can't you use your power to overwhelm them? Ah, no. You would need to have at least semi-mastered balance breaker before taking on 2 high-class devils in their peerages. And currently, you haven't even unlocked balance breaker, so that's an Akeno. Additionally, in your current state if you had a bounty placed on you, that would literally be like walking around in public with a kill me now sign on your back. Damn it. I guess I will have to submit to them temporarily. Go ahead then, use that technique. Alright. I'm breaking one of the seals I put on your body, so you have a temporary surge of power, which should allow you to run away if they're hostile. This may feel overwhelming, like an adrenaline rush, but only with pleasure mixed in with it. Wow. Sweet Mother Teresa on the hood of a Mercedes-Benz. That felt amazing. Haha, what was that? Never mind. Just move on. Pretend that you had never heard me say that. Okay. Let's just do what I suggested. Are you ready, Issei? Yeah. Let's do this, Albion. Divine dividing. Absorb. In the ORC clubroom. On. What's this my power? It's being drained. Rias moaned. Mine too. On. Akeno whined. And mine. Sona, Tsubaki and Kaneko all moaned in harmony. Ah. All of boys yelled. They felt weak, a lot weaker than before. That's when they saw him. Standing right there was the same boy that Sona and Rias had both argued over who he belongs to. He got there so fast that it almost felt like he actually teleported. Nobody had seen him enter, nobody had seen any entrance being opened or closed. It literally looked as if he teleported. But in reality, he hadn't. Issei was simply so fast that no one could process his speed. But what was different about him was that he had the divine dividing sacred gear equipped, his wings stretching out of his back and sparkling as energy flushed into them. Everybody was so shocked. They hadn't predicted that he'd drain their power like that, so he could get out of his coma faster. Now all of the high-class devils felt like mid-class devils, the mid-class devils felt like low-class devils, and the low-class devils simply had so little power that they were practically as useless as a normal human. You were supposed to be in a coma. What are you doing to us? Sona yelled at Issei, the first time anybody had seen her lose her cool. But that's when Issei stopped the draining via mental communication with Albion. He then took a bow and introduced himself. Hello everybody. I apologize for the rather rude introduction. My name is Issei Issei, and I am this generation's hacker Yuiku the White Dragon Emperor. He began. Everybody's eyes widened tremendously. They had all thought that the White Dragon Emperor was a myth, along with the Sekiryu, the Red Dragon Emperor. Issei noticed this and told them all to relax. He knew that he couldn't kill or harm them that much, merely because he didn't have the power to. Relax, everybody. I do not mean any harm. I simply drained your power while I was in a coma, which sped up my healing process so much that I instantaneously resuscitated myself. Then he pointed towards Akeno and Rias, who were both extremely shocked that he wanted to even talk to them. They were under the illusion that every White Dragon Emperor and Red Dragon Emperor was powerful enough to kill gods, even without training. Of course Issei didn't tell them that right now he couldn't even take on a single high-class devil without some damage. He wanted them to believe that he was extremely strong, so he could make his escape. You too. Gremory and Akeno, is it? He said. Rias nodded at her name, but also told him that her first name was Rias. Akeno also nodded in conjunction with her king. I appreciate the fact that you tried to help me and heal me. I thank you for that. However, I do not want to join any devil's peerage at this moment. The best I could do is keep a mutual friendship. Both Sona and Rias nodded. Then he introduced his sacred gear. As for your concerns, Rias Gremory, my sacred gear is divine dividing. It has the power to divide an opponent's power in half and then add that half onto the wielder's own power. It is a mid-tier longinus with the capability to kill a god when fully mastered. He said. I will be taking my leave now. You should find me somewhere around the outskirts of Kuo. Most likely those huge beautiful woods. Or, I will be killing a stray devil to earn a bit of money for myself. Issei finished. He retracted his wings and opened the door. Before leaving, he informed Rias and Sona about the drainage that he just did. That move I performed is only temporary. About a day's rest should restore your magic power completely. Both of the high-class devils nodded and helped their peerage members up. Before Issei could close the door, Rias told him to stop. Wait. Hakuryu no Hidausen. What do you want, Miss Gremory? Will you at least help me in my peerage train? Like, you can become allies with us. However, to earn any amount of money by killing a stray devil, you will have to report to an actual devil and confirm it with them, who will forward their message to the Grand Duke. A few days later, you should come back and receive your paycheck. It will definitely benefit you. Rias asked. Issei thought about her offer. Albion, should I accept it? Yes, partner. It will get you a source of high money which you can use to your advantage. I accept, Miss Gremory. Like I said before, you can find me killing stray devils or around the woods observing Kuo. She nodded while smiling in pure bliss and happiness. Then, Issei stepped outside the door and closed it behind him. And so how was this story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.